MMA Boxing Talk here. It's going to be a short video on the upcoming middleweight UFC fight between Anderson Silva and Michael Bisping. This is February 27th. It's going to be only on UFC Fight Pass. Now, this is a fight that's kind of a hard one to predict. Both guys have had their fair share of injuries in the past few years. Anderson Silva, of course, breaking his leg, a compound fracture, which is not just a typical break. A compound fracture is when the bone is broke from side to side, and the only thing holding your leg it was the shin, right in the middle of his shin, it broke. And a compound fracture is the only thing that's holding it together is your skin, basically. So to come back from that and to fight again, a year ago he fought. He got busted for steroids against, that was the Nate Diaz fight. Now in this fight against Nate Diaz, he won, but you could just tell it wasn't the same Anderson. No, I don't know if that's because he was timid and just not 100% sure, and just because of his leg coming back from an injury like that. Like I said, the compound fracture, it's not your everyday leg break. You know what I mean? It was right in your shin. And so anyway, but now when we talk about Michael Bisping, a few years back he got his retina detached and had to have a crazy surgery. So this guy, he's been through his fair share of injuries as well. Now, if I quickly talk about their last, like both fighters' last 5 fights, let's say. We'll start back. We'll start with Michael Bisping. 5 fights ago, he fought Tim Kennedy and lost a unanimous decision, a 5-rounder. Then he went on to beat Kung Lee, 4th-round TKO victory. Then he got submitted by the now middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. Submitted him in 2014. Then he went on to win 2 times in a row, beating CB Dollaway in a 3-round unanimous decision, and then fighting Lietez. I can't even pronounce his name. That was in 2015. So he hasn't had a whole lot of fights lately either. Well, he had 2 in 2015. But he hasn't fought in since last summer. So he's had a little bit of time off. Anderson's had a good year, a little over a year. It's going to be interesting to see how Anderson comes back. I believe he will look better than his last performance against Nate Diaz, which he won, but it wasn't really the most exciting fight. I know Nick Diaz was doing his thing, laying down on the canvas and taunting him, but it wasn't a great fight for Anderson Silva, even though he won. It wasn't very decisive. I mean, it was decisive, but he never really hurt Diaz. Um, so, but moving on to Anderson Silva, just quickly, like I said, his last fight was Nick Diaz. Sorry, I get them mixed up all the time. And then he suffered 2 losses to Chris Weidman, both in 2013. 2014, he didn't fight at all. And before that, he beat Stephan Bonner, and his last fight, 5 fights ago, would have been against Chael Sonnen, a victory against Chael Sonnen. So both guys haven't been very great in the last 2-3 years. But they're both kind of on the same playing level now. It all depends on how he evolves and how he can get past maybe the mental blockage. Because the Nick Diaz fight a year ago it just wasn't the same Anderson. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. He's had a year now, so when he fought Nick Diaz, that was a year removed from this compound fracture. Now we're looking at 2 years since the compound fracture. I think he'll be a little more confident, maybe take a little more risk. If that's the case, I think he can possibly beat Michael Bisping. Now, Michael Bisping has faced some good competitors. I mean, Luke Rockhold is an animal. He just beat Chris Weidman to take the belt from him. Bisping got submitted by Rockhold in the second round. He was just outmatched, but Anderson Silva is no Luke Rockhold if you're talking about the present time. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. I'll put out a prediction video a little bit closer to the fight. Like I said, that's February 27th, only on UFC Fight Pass, which is a bit of a shame if you ask me. It should be on free TV, but they know if they put Silva on the Fight Pass, people are going to buy the Fight Pass to see Anderson, La Spider Silva return, one of the greatest of all time. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Silva Bisping, this upcoming fight. Should be an interesting fight at the least. Two guys, a little bit past their prime. Anyway, if you like the video, subscribe. And, if you disagree or you agree and you want to just add or whatever, just speak your mind. Don't be shy. Comment away. That's it for this video. Until next time, MMA Boxing Talk. See you later.